the whole reason you've been in therapy for this long is that, for however long, even if it's 2 months, is that you are learning to be able to cope without these people. If you're looking to therapy as something that is just going to change your life without you doing anything, and you're just going to be there and watch, and they should tell you what to do, they should just tell you the decision to take, and you do as they say, then you're not looking at it the right way. Hello, welcome back to another episode of It's Daddy Pod. I hope you're well. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're having a beautiful day, whatever time, whatever day you're listening to this. Today's episode, we're talking about therapy. And I don't think it's even what I think you might think. There's a lot of I think in this conversation, but it might not really be what you're thinking. Anyway, I just rounded up therapy. So you can kind of say I broke up with my therapist. And this was my longest therapist, actually, or longest relationship with a therapist. I also think that mental health, self-help, getting therapy and all of these things can also be weaponized in a way. And I want to do my part to just talk about my own experience and also what kind of led to me deciding to end. Obviously, you know that, or if it's not obvious, and this is your first time listening to It's Daddy Pod, a lot of things that I talk about, a lot of the situations and experiences I share here are influenced by my relationship with Christ. Deciding to end therapy was something that I prayed about and I thought about for maybe 3 months. I was preparing for a change in terms of what I was going to be doing differently in terms of my career, and that affected my finances, right? But prior to even thinking of the finances, I started realizing that I was struggling with therapy and just maybe feeling like I wasn't getting as much as I wanted anymore, because I felt like I needed a different type of therapy or a different type of help. Sometimes you've gotten pretty much what you need for that time, and it's okay for you to take a break and dissolve whatever relationship until you feel like you want another therapy session or you want to try again, and you can always come back. And for someone that has always struggled with kind of feeling like something I'm living is the end. If I stop seeing this therapist, that's the end. I will never see her again, and she will never want to work with me, and all of these things. There are issues that's led to all this stuff. But I had to kind of sit with that, accept it, and understand that there is more. But right now, I had to honor my wrestle. And if you've listened to the episode, which is, I think that episode is titled Honoring Your Wrestle, you would understand what I am saying, because the wrestle is always going to be there. And if I did not honor it, I was just going to constantly be frustrated. Figuring out what kind of therapy you need is a process in itself, right? So I feel like I contributed to the conversation in the past around, go to therapy, but not necessarily kind of having conversations around that, around the fact that sometimes therapy is not for everyone, but also what kind of pushes someone to go to therapy. First of all, I went to therapy because I prayed about it. And secondly, I realized I wanted to share some things that I didn't feel as comfortable sharing with maybe some of my friends or my family, not because they weren't good people to share with, but because I wanted to get an objective perspective. I wanted to get to talk to someone that did not have any relationship with me personally, would not have any ties, or was not going to like look at me through the image or look through the lens of whatever I have shared, right? And I wanted just like a free space to be able to share and get feedback or get a different perspective. And I knew at that point I had done a lot of talking and all these self-help things that were kind of actually negatively affecting me. So my next best option was to try therapy. And at that time, my company was offering about 6 free sessions, which I'm so grateful for. That allowed me to kind of try it out and see whether or not it was helpful for me. And I found out that it was helpful. It allowed me a space to process my emotions a little bit better, and then kind of not have to dump on people immediately. And it helped me to build a relationship with myself in terms of processing my emotions and sitting with certain things. So I wanted to share some things that I think you can just put into consideration or take into consideration if you're someone that is desiring therapy or probably in therapy already and just having different questions. One important thing is that therapy is not a replacement for God in your life. And I say that because younger Winifred really could not differentiate her therapist and God at a point in her life. If there was anything happening, the first person I wanted to talk to was my therapist, and the Holy Spirit started showing me that I was becoming very dependent on my therapist. I used my therapist as the first source of help for me. If I was panicking or, having a really bad day, I would want to book a session as opposed to going to pray to God and read my Bible. And God is the creator of everyone. He's the one that has provided us the opportunity to have therapists. He's the one that has also provided me with the money and finances to be able to afford one, right? He did not provide it for me to then use that as a replacement for him. It is a supplement to my relationship with Christ. And I had to really come into that awareness and pray about it and just learn to lean on God more. My therapist was just, again, a supplementary help in my life. And she was there to guide, but she's not my source. Okay, she's still human and she'll be wrong in some things or they'll be wrong in some things. For example, I might say, my therapist changed my life, and it's something that I had to be very aware of because my therapist did not change my life. God used my therapist to change my life for me. A lot of the things I've come into the realization of is based off of the relationship that I was able to build in therapy, but also coming into awareness of myself. Your therapist helps you to know you better and ask you questions so that you can help yourself, right? They're not there to help you. They're not going to do the work for you. And that goes into my next point. But because I started knowing that, I started being careful of the ways that I would give credit, because a doctor is not the one that heals you, right? They treat you and they do what they're supposed to do, and they're gifted and they use their talents well, and thank God for that. But it is God that does the healing. It's God that does the miraculous ways that he does these things. And that's the way therapy is as well. You can go and you can try 50,000 therapists, but if you don't really take it to God and make him the center, you'll just constantly be in circles, and you'll be going in circles and circles. Again, these are professionals, right? They know what they are doing. They are talented, and God has gifted all these people to be knowledgeable in what they are doing. Science, everything comes together to make sense, and they're able to help you prescribe drugs, prescribe medications, and different other alternatives to help you get to the best version of yourself. They are very important. I'm just saying that I had to come into the realization of God being my center, God being the top, and then every other thing was supplementary to my relationship with Christ. Therapy is not going to do the work for you. You have to do the work. Therapy is 90%, 95% you, and then 5% therapist. Therapist is there to ask you questions and, probe you and just kind of help you to process things, but you have to confront a lot of things. Oh my God, you have to be intentional about your sessions. I think that there are even therapy books to help you during your sessions, like write things down. I had another planner or jotter for my therapy sessions. My point is, therapy requires your participation. You cannot be there and expect someone, if you're looking to therapy as something that is just going to change your life without you doing anything, and you're just going to be there and watch, and they should tell you what to do, they should just tell you the decision to take and you do as they say, then you're not looking at it the right way. Your therapist should not be telling you what to do. Actually, they should be helping you to process and help yourself decide on what to do. So if they prescribe, if they tell you or advise you to get on medication or whatnot, you have to come to that decision and agree and say, yes, okay, I want to do this. Or you can say, no, I want to try just talk therapy for the next 3 months and see how I'm doing before that. You have to participate because it is literally your life and it is your decision to make in a lot of things. And that demands a lot of confrontation, difficult conversations, crying, laughing. Another thing is that finding a therapist is like dating. You guys, Ooh, if you hate dating and find it very stressful, then I don't know. Good luck. Good luck on finding a therapist. You might be lucky and you just find one immediately that you love. You can also ask people around, but I just want to let you know that it is like dating. And I say that because you would have to kind of go through different therapists to find the one that you kind of match with and you feel like it's a good fit. Their approach is good for you. The pacing is good for you. The things that they value or they share makes sense to you, or they're able to work with you and they're patient enough, whatever, or their budget works, like the pricing works with your budget, sorry. Things like that. It takes a lot of like dating. So you have to go through a few consultations, which can be quite annoying. I like to say that you don't have to wait for things to be very terrible. You don't have to wait for things to be terrible before you get into therapy. If you feel like the desires on your heart, you feel like it's something that you need, even before you get into a manic or whatever state, I would say start searching, talk to people, just have different consultations. Most of the time, a consultation is like 15 minutes. It's free. It should be free, I think. So when you get into these consultations, just have a list, like maybe 5 questions. Ask ChatGPT. Note your answers as well. Note the answers that you're looking for. That way, it helps you to know the people that you're going to shortlist, or kind of the option or the best person that you want to go with. I would say, as a Black person, I would advise you not to limit yourself to only Black therapists, or try to like be small-minded. Sometimes it will shock you. It would surprise you that it is, a Caucasian that is the perfect fit for you, or an Asian, and just be a little bit open-minded. I'm saying this as someone that started off just being, oh, I need a Black therapist. I need a Black therapist. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes maybe it doesn't just fit your needs at that time, or maybe that's just like you just didn't find one that was within your budget, and that's okay. You don't have to limit yourself. It doesn't have to be a woman. It can be, I'm not saying, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a man. It doesn't also have to be a man. It can be a woman. Do you get what I mean? I also think this dating thing, in terms of dating to find a therapist, would definitely teach you to trust your gut a little bit more, because you would see how maybe your gut was telling you, this doesn't work. And as a Christian, the Holy Spirit is telling you, no, let's move on, find someone else. You might struggle with that and wrestle with that, but the more the more you go, and if you go ahead with the wrong person or whatnot, and you see, you be like, okay, I wish I had gone with my gut. I wish I had listened to the Holy Spirit, and yeah, it improves the relationship that you have with yourself. Therapy is not a life commitment. It's not a lifelong commitment. You don't have to go into it with the idea that you need to be here for the rest of your life, or that you're not going to get better. You will get better by the grace of God and by your participation. If you're struggling with letting go of your therapist right now, you're just like, I don't know, what if I end therapy and I'm struggling with my mental health? What do I do? The whole reason you've been in therapy for this long is that, for however long, even if it's 2 months, is that you are learning to be able to cope without these people. So that's why you're gaining tools in order to use them. So you're putting these tools in a toolbox, and when things happen, you open that toolbox and then you use them to mend things, to screw things back in, and then you close your toolbox back and you put it in a safe place. That is what the whole purpose of therapy is. It is not to make you dependent on your therapist. It is not to live a life that constantly needs someone else to kind of hold you through it. Outside of God, there's no other person you should be that dependent on. So if that's a fear for you, I want to encourage you that you are literally doing all the work, hopefully, to get better and to know how to have tools, to gain tools, to know how to use those tools in your life. Sometimes you're in therapy for 5 years, for 10 years, whatever. And sometimes you're in therapy for 10 months. It doesn't matter. But a good therapist should notice your growth and be able to kind of slowly let you go. So is therapy worth it? I think so. I think that it is worth it if you know that you need help, if you need an outlet, if you feel like you recognize that you're struggling with certain things, and you know that the environment and the people that you constantly are around cannot necessarily be of help, and you feel like you're praying about it and God's leading you to talk to someone and get an expert opinion on it, then I think for sure it is worth it. It's not worth it if you're doing it just because you want to go out and tell people that, yeah, I'm in therapy, I'm in therapy. Like, it sounds cool, I guess, but you are wasting money. Like, if it's not the next step for you, then there's no need for you to be doing that. Okay, it's time for me to share my favorite item of the week, and these are the e.l.f. blushes. Oh my gosh, I think this is the first makeup I'm sharing. I think so. And I actually really do like makeup, but I don't know, I've just not been thinking about it when I was thinking about some of my favorite things. I love these blushes. I think they're like $7 or $6, I can't remember, but amazing. The pigment, great. e.l.f. I use e.l.f. skincare, their moisturizer, their sleeping mask, amazing. And some of their makeup, I use them. I love their blushes. The pigment is insane. You just need a tiny bit, and the way it just blends really well on your skin for the amount, I think that it is amazing. I love the orange, but recently I've been using this is like a bronzy, blush, but it is in the shade bronze. Oh, I didn't know that. It's in the shade bronze bombshell. And I currently have it on. I don't know if you can even see anything on my skin, to be honest, but I use this and then I use my bronzer as a blush and bronzer at the same time. And it just gives me this nice, in my opinion, nice bronzy look that I typically like to go for sometimes, especially at night. So I really like it if you're in the market for new makeup. And if you're a makeup artist, and you're just thinking of, well, I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna shut up when it comes to that, because maybe you just need the ones that are like pigmented and you can put them in pots. I don't really know. So yeah, that's my favorite of the week. We love a good rant about makeup, don't we? That's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. Let me know what you think. Therapy. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of the points that I said. Leave it in the comment section below. And yeah, just have interactions and conversations with people. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.